Alright everyone, this is 1.5 extra practice. This is a good summary of what we've learned in the previous section, 1.5, when talking about angle pairs and relationships of angle pairs. This may extend from one lesson to 2 lessons. We'll see how quickly we can get through this. So be sure to take your time, make sure you're getting all the notes, finishing each question, to the fullest is more important than rushing through the lesson itself. So we're going to take our time here. Are the indicated angles adjacent? Remember, adjacent means that they share a side or a ray and a vertex. Okay, if you look at number 1, they ask for BAC and CAD. Now they share a vertex A and they share this ray AC. So these are adjacent, yes. Next one asks for EFG and then HGF. Now, although they do share FG on the bottom of this diagram here, they do not share a vertex. These are actually a type of angle that we have not learned about yet. These are consecutive angles, so this is not adjacent, no. Last one is JNM and LNK. We learned about these. They make that bow tie shape, okay? These are called vertical angles. These are not adjacent angles. All right. The next section asks you, angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary angles. Complementary. These are from our definitions from the other day. That means they equal 90 degrees, or the sum is 90 degrees. Okay, so they want us to find the measures of angle 1 and angle 2. So if the measure of angle 1 is 52, essentially all we're doing here is the measure of angle 1. Now we could solve this algebraically using arithmetic. I'll show you algebraic and then arithmetic. The measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is going to equal 90 degrees. The measure of angle 1 we know is 52, plus the measure of angle 2 we don't even know yet. Okay, we're going to keep it as the measure of angle 2 equals 90. I'm going to subtract 52 from both sides, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to, and 90 minus 52 is 38 degrees. Okay, so 38 degrees. Okay. Here we go. Again, we have the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 90. The measure of angle 1 this time is 76. We don't know the measure of angle 2, and that's going to equal 90. Subtract 76 on both sides. Your 76's will cancel, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 14. So 14 degrees. Last one here, we got the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2, again is going to equal 90. The measure of angle 1 this time is 19 plus the measure of angle 2. Subtract 19 from both sides, and 90 minus 19 gives us 71. So the measure of angle 2 here is 71 degrees. Okay, so that's for complementary. Now they give us the same exact scenario, except they are supplementary. So we know they're going to equal 180 degrees now. Okay, so we're going to set up our questions the same exact way. Let's write them all out at the same time. The measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 180. Okay, I'm going to see if I could cheat here. Okay, now we're going to plug in the information that we know. The measure of angle 1 is 52, plus the measure of angle 2 needs to equal 180. In number 10, the measure of angle 1 equals 76, plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180. Question number 11, the measure of angle 1 is 19, plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180. Okay, now we're just going to subtract those constants from both sides, minus 52 on both sides. 52's cancel, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 180 minus 52, gives you 128. Okay. Remember, feel free to pause if this video is just moving too quickly for you. I know it's a lot to write down, and I can cheat by copying and pasting, and take your time. Please take your time. Here we're going to subtract 76 on both sides, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 104 degrees. Last one, we're going to subtract 19 from both sides. 19's cancel, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 161 degrees. Okay, using the diagram, tell whether the angles are vertical, a linear pair, or neither. So the first one has angle 1 and angle 2. And what I notice is that angle 1 and angle 2 combined generate a straight line. Okay? When they generate a straight line, that would be a linear pair. Okay, so remember, just the key. Linear pairs make a straight line. Vertical angles make that bow tie looking shape that we're always looking for. Okay? Neither would do neither of those things. Angle 1 and angle 4. Well, angle 1 and angle 4 again generate a straight line. That's a linear pair. Angle 1 and angle 6. Well, here's angle 1 and here's angle 6. Now, although you see a straight line here, that straight line is made by angles 1 and 4 and 3 and 2. That has nothing to do with angle 6. So that's not a linear pair. And this is definitely not that bow tie shape that we're looking for. So angle 1 and angle 6 are neither. Angle 1 and angle 8, again, do not make a bow tie, do not create that straight line. This is neither. Angle 1, though, and angle 3, well, now we're getting into that bow tie shape. Angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical pairs, or vertical angles. Angle 1, again at the top, and angle 5 is on the side here. These angles do not correlate with each other vertically or in a linear pair, so these are neither. Angle 1 and angle 7. So here's angle 1, here's angle 7, and again, neither. Angle 2 and angle 4. Well, there's our bow tie, angle 2 and angle 4. They're vertical angles. Okay, we're going to skip down to here, 2021, 22. Now, it says use the diagrams for each question to find the indicated measurements. So they want us to find x, then they want us to find the measure of angle ABD and the measure of angle DBC. Well, if you notice, ABD and DBC generate a right angle. So we know that the measure of angle ABD plus angle DBC equals 90 degrees. All right, I'm just going to get rid of the measure so we can save some room. Angle ABD is 2x plus DBC is 3x, which equals 90. Well, 2x plus 3x makes 5x, which equals 90 degrees. Divide both sides by 5, and x equals, and 90 divided by 5 is 18. So x equals 18 for number 20. Now, the measure of angle ABD, and this is why I gave extra room here on the bottom. I should have gave extra room. The measure of angle ABD is 2x, or 2 times 18, and the measure of angle DBC is 3 times 18. Well, 2 times 18 is 36, and 3 times 18 is 54. So fill those in. ABD is 36, and DBC is 54. Okay, and there's one down. Let's try and separate these a little if I can. Okay, this time we have angle ABD, and again DBC, but they generate a straight line, which means they equal 180 degrees. Okay, we're going to try and save some room. So 4x plus 6 plus 11x minus 6 equals 180. Well, oops, sorry about that. Here we have 4x plus 11x, which makes 15x. But then we have a positive 6 and minus 6, which makes 0, so they cancel each other out. So 15x equals 180. If I divide both sides by 15, we get x equals, and 180 divided by 15 in our calculators equals 12. So x equals 12. Now, if we were to plug in for both of these, we have 4 times 12 plus 6. 4 times 12 is 48, plus 6 makes 54. So angle ABD is 54. DBC is 11 times 12 minus 6. 11 times 12 is 132. Minus 6 makes 126. So angle DBC is 126 degrees. Okay. Number 22, same scenario. These two angles generate a straight line, which means they equal 180 degrees. So we have 10x plus 1 plus 9x minus 11. 10x plus 9x makes 19x. 1 minus 11 makes negative 10, which equals 180. Now we have a two-step equation. Add 10 to both sides. 19x equals 190. If we divide both sides by 19, we get x equals 10. All right, so x equals 10 this time. So for angle ABD, we have 10 times 10 plus 1. Well, 10 times 10 is 100, plus 1 makes 101. So ABD is 101 degrees. Here we have 9 times 10 minus 11, which is 90, minus 11, which makes 79. Okay, a lot of work for these questions, I know. All right, but this is just a generic type of question in geometry that you're going to have to be prepared for come Regents time. Okay, so at the top here they give us information. Angle A is 4x minus 2, and angle B is 11x plus 17. It says find x if the angles are complementary. Well, complementary means they equal 90. So here we have 4x minus 2 plus 11x plus 17 equals 90. Well, 4x plus 11x makes 15x, and 17 minus 2 is 15. Normal two-step equation, we're going to subtract 15 from both sides, and we get 15x equals 90 minus 15 makes 75. I'm going to divide both sides by 15, and x equals 75 divided by 15 is 5. Now, they didn't ask us to solve for the individual angles. All they asked us to do is find x, and we did. X equals 5. The same exact scenario, except they're supplementary, which means they're going to equal 180 this time. So again, we have 4x minus 2 plus 11x plus 17, and we know when we combine our like terms, again, this is going to be 15x plus 15 equals 180. Subtract 15 on both sides, and we get 15x equals 165. All we need to do is divide 165 by 15. 15's cancel, and x equals 11. Okay, so notice how one word within the question can change your answer. Okay, this is why it's very important to know our definitions in geometry. Stair railing. A stair railing is designed as shown in the figure. Use the angles identified in the figure to name two pairs of the indicated type of angle pair. Okay, so the first one is complementary angles. Okay, they equal 90 degrees, and remember, those are our right angles. Okay. I see right angles in the top corners, here and here, and that's generated by angle 1 and angle 2. So angle 1 and angle 2, and angle 3 and angle 4. So those are your complementary angles. Supplementary, remember, those equal 180, and they create straight lines. So I see a straight line right here going across. Now, you don't have to choose these answers, but that straight line could either be generated by angles 8 and 5 or 7 and 6, so I'm going to use those. Okay, you could also say, well, wait a second, we have a straight line going in the other direction, and those pairs are 8 and 7 and 5 and 6. Those would also be correct answers for supplementary. Vertical angles, let's look for that bow tie. Well, I see it right here. And again, we could use different pairs than these, and that's okay. Our bow tie, I see angles 8 and 6 are vertical angles. And I see 5 and 7 are vertical angles. Okay, so there's your verticals. Linear pairs, meaning they make a straight line. Well, wouldn't those be the same as your supplementary angles? Linear pairs and supplementary are the same. Okay, so we already know these answers. 8 and 5 and 7 and 6. Same as 26. Adjacent angles. Remember, our adjacent angles are ones that share a vertex and a ray. Okay, so where do we see some adjacent angles? If I look at this top corner, I see them right here. We share a vertex, meaning this corner, and we share a ray right here. So that would be angles 1 and angles 2. They're adjacent. Now, if I did the other corner, we have angles 3 and angles 4 are adjacent. Now, those are not the only pairs of adjacent angles we have. There are many within this diagram. Just looking at the corners might be the easiest. I see a line here and a common side. We could have used angles 8 and 5. I also see that same line going in a different direction. We could have used 7 and 6. Okay, so there are many correct answers within this diagram. They're only asking for 2. Moving on. Using the diagram, tell whether they are vertical, a linear pair, or neither. So remember, vertical is our bow tie. Linear pairs create straight lines. Neither, obviously, would be neither of those things. Angle 1 and angle 2. Well, angle 1 and angle 2, are right here. And they generate a straight line. Okay, those are linear. Angle 2 and angle 4. Here's angle 2. Here's angle 4. Okay, those are not vertical. And they are certainly not linear. So neither. Angle 6 and angle 8. Well, here's angle 6 and here's angle 8. And those are vertical angles because they make our bow tie. Angle 11 and angle 10. Well, here's 10, here's 11. And they lie on a straight line. Those are a linear pair. Angle 1 and angle 3. Here's angle 1. Here's angle 3. There's our bow tie, vertical angles. Angle 4 and angle 5. Here's the angle those two generate. Those are adjacent angles. They are not vertical. They are not linear. Okay, they are adjacent. But they don't ask us for that in the question, so we're going to write neither. Angle 8 and angle 9. Well, here's angle 8. Here's angle 9. And they generate a straight line, which means they are a linear pair. Last is angle 10 and angle 7. Well, here's angle 10. Here's angle 7. Again, we haven't learned about these yet. They are consecutive angles, so they are neither. Last questions. Draw a picture, write an equation to help you solve the following problem. This is a very common style of question in geometry. They give us the information, but we actually have to create the diagram or the picture ourselves. Okay? The measure of one angle is 7 times the measure of its complement. Okay, the measure of one angle is 7 times the measure of its complement. Complement is a word we know, complementary, which means it equals 90. Okay, so here we have equals 90. Now, if we have 2 separate angles, and let's start drawing our picture. We know a 90-degree angle, or complementary, is going to look like this. Okay? So one of the angles is 7 times the measure of the other. So let's call the first angle x. If the other angle is 7 times the first one, that would be 7x. So here we have 7x plus 7x plus x equals 90. I was getting ahead of myself. 7x plus x makes 8x equals 90. Divide both sides by 8, and 90 divided by 8 gives us 11 1/4. So x equals 11.25. Don't be afraid of decimals. It does happen sometimes. Okay, so it says find the measure of each angle. Well, the first one is 7 times 11.25. And the second one is just going to be 11.25. So here's degrees. And 7 times 11.25, we're going to have to use our calculator for that one, is 78.75. Okay, so here's our angle, 78.75 and 11.25, and if we add those together, they equal 90. The measure of one angle is 38 degrees less than the measure of its supplement. Okay, so supplementary, we know, equals 180 degrees. So we know our diagram here is going to be a straight line. So let's draw a straight line. And let's give it a ray out of it. And we know the measure of one angle is going to be x. And the measure of another angle is going to be x minus 38, because it's 38 degrees less than the other. So we have x plus x minus 38. If we combine our like terms, we get 2x minus 38 equals 180. I am going to add 38 to both sides, and we get 2x equals 218. I'm going to divide 218 by 2, and x equals 109 degrees. Okay, I'm not done though, because we know the first angle is 109. So that's one down, 109 degrees. Our second angle is x minus 38, so it's 109 minus 38, which is 71. So x minus 38 is 71 degrees. And if you add 71 and 109 together, that equals 180. Okay. That is it for this worksheet. I know it was a lot. Definitely a very challenging worksheet, demanding. This is new to us, but these are the types of questions we're going to start to see over the course of the next few months, and especially when you take your Regents level geometry next year. Thanks for watching. Don't forget